You are God of all creation, Yahweh, Yahweh. You are God of all nations, Yahweh, Yahweh. Titamanda, Titamanda zinalanu. Titamanda, Titamanda zinalanu. Do me slide, do me slide, Titamala, do me.
And we are still here at Red Sun Blue Hotel giving you exclusive reviews about KiZAZi that is being launched by Asante. And with me is Mr. Mwansa and Mr. Alan. Hi.
Hi.
Hello there.
How are you?
All right, thank you.
I don't know which one to ask first.
As the spirit leads.
Okay, Mr. Alan, what do you think KiZAZi means?
Well, KiZAZi, according to I think how it has been explained, it's about this generation and the kind of music that is being done. Something that after many years, they'll be able to look back and say, this is what we did for God. And I think it's beautiful.
Yeah, I think tapping into the same line of thought. I think KiZAZi signifies our generation, and that's if we add the KiZAZi year to but it just signifies the very idea of our generation. And I think it's a call and a challenge to all of us to be able to do something about this generation, because we are positioned in this generation for a purpose. So I think it's a beautiful call. It calls all of us to take action as a generation. Yeah.
So having heard some of the songs that have been sung from this album, what is your take-home message? I'll start with you then.
Wow. So I think there are so many take-home messages from this particular album, and now I think Asante have put us in a limbo, because then we're going to struggle to settle for favorites. There are two songs in particular that have greatly impacted me over the years that Asante have done. Little Dreamer, as well as Buga Moyo Wangu. But I think after listening to this one, I may need to revisit my favorite playlist. And I think one of the songs they sang is Ndi Sololele. I like that one because it asks God to lead us throughout, because we know that we are not safe for a day or an hour without Him. God is our guide, and we need Him every day and every hour. I think it's what the Bible tells us in Philippians 2 verse 12, that wake out to salvation with fear and trembling. But it's God that works in you both to will and to do. Without God, we can't have direction as a generation. Yeah.
Your take-home message?
Well, in the first place, I didn't expect that the album will have 21 songs. So you can imagine the kind of effort that has gone in. It looks like this was well thought. Nothing has come by accident. It's been a journey, and today what we are witnessing is a culmination of efforts, inspiration, even dreams. I can imagine that they literally envisaged what we are seeing today. So from what I've heard, for me, the big song here is Above All. Not necessarily that the harmony, the melody, and whatever is good, but the fact that whatever you do, it has to be to God's glory.
Oh, yeah.
So if it's short of that, then what you're doing is just an exercise in futility. So I enjoyed the song, and I believe it stands tall. Amen.
Amen.
So
Amen.
2 events. Let me just say, one album launch in a row, a weekend. I mean, why? What do you think Asante decided to have 2 events in one weekend?
Yeah, well, I think that we need to appreciate this effort by Asante, and I think one of the challenges that we have as a generation is inclusivity and diversity. You need to be as inclusive as you can be. You need to be as diverse as you can be, because you want to reach out to a wide audience. It's all about ministry. And so there are others, for example, who may have not been able to come through there. It could be time and different factors. But tomorrow's venue, event begins at an earlier time, more central venue. So the idea is to reach out to as many people as possible. And so I support this spirit. And actually, it's a great manifestation of what can be done, when singers are passionate and creative because they believe that they would like to take this extra mile. So it takes sacrifice, it takes commitment, and also it's an act of faith, because you would be skeptical about, are people going to show up? But as far as I'm concerned, I know that there's so much support coming in because people, always find time, money, and space for what they value.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Alan, what do you think Asante is trying to make people emulate from this kind of setup?
Well, I must confess that this is a daring step.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Because it's never happened before. And all of us will actually be learning from this.
Yes.
And I've seen that it's a success already.
Yes, it is.
It's well attended, and we'll see about tomorrow, because what has happened is that they've split their audience, their fan base, okay, into two categories. Obviously, there are people who would not come here because of where Radisson Blu is.
How much they have to pay.
Exactly, to get to where they're coming from. And I'm assuming tomorrow's setup will cater for them. So it's all good. It's all good. And again, there's always a class that do not want to mix. So those have been covered here coming to Radisson Blu. Yeah, sure.
So what are some of your encouragements for Asante starting today, and also the upcoming groups? What should they learn from this? I'll start with you, then we'll end with him.
All right. So number one, I think there's an aspect of unity. I think it's one thing that I love about Asante. Over the years, they've demonstrated, the idea of, being willing to unite with others. We have a blend of different groups here. We have Shiloh present, we have Touch of Faith, and these are people that sing, different, genres of music, but also different age groups, and so bridging the gap. I think going forward, all singing groups should always endeavor to, exemplify and actualize the idea of unity in diversity. Bring in as many people on board as you can, because you see, ultimately the goal is salvation, the goal is ministry, and so we have one same goal, and so we have to continue with that unity and that support that we have. So I think there's so much, and also commitment. I think I've heard people talk about the number of songs in an album. I think this is something worth emulating. I think if you're going to give a product that people will value, that even when they pay the amount of money required for it, they won't complain, then it has to be not just quantity in terms of number, but also quality. And I think this is a blend of both. But above all, it's committing everything in God's hand. I think, we've seen the tone, the mood in this idea is God-centered, and that is, inculcating a very good value. So I think Asante and all other groups have to continue putting God first, putting in the effort, because whenever you put in effort, it's never in vain. Yeah. Sure.
I should say that the bar has been raised. These are not places we usually frequent to, especially as a cappella groups in the SDA church. And what they've done, obviously, is to sort of set a trend, okay? And all of us who now want to, I'm actually launching my album.
Okay. Please tell us more about it.
Most likely in August,
okay.
End of August.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm thinking this is already something that's wow to me. So it's a venue I can consider. One thing we haven't been doing is investing in quality, investing in standards, and it's never worked well for us, because obviously the image hasn't been something that is attractive to people, especially those that are outside our circles. Now, what they're doing is showing the world that, look, we can equally rise to the occasion. We can do what others have been doing. If they've been investing, we can equally invest. And this shows that you believe in your product. Because if you cannot invest in it, then obviously who will believe in it? So yourself, you have to be convinced it's something that can sell. It's something that needs to be sought from here and not from any. Let me not mention any.
You are God unto all nations, Yahweh, Yahweh. You are God of all creation, Yahweh, Yahweh. You are God of all nations, Yahweh, Yahweh. Titamanda, titamanda zinalanu.